Welcome to It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights and Beyond, where today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 14, Upping the Ante. Zach?
Style filters down. Smash works his way out of the doghouse. Matt works himself into the doghouse. Street and Lyla work on wedding plans. Tim works out some daddy issues, and Coach works on his job. Coaching, mentoring, husbanding, fathering, etc.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of It's Not Only Football. We are so glad to have you all out there listening and watching. Like I said in the intro, we're talking about Episode 14, Upping the Ante, which was written by David Hudgens, who wrote a number of episodes of our show, and we've already talked about him at length. And it was directed by, once again,
my personal favorite, Alison Liddy Brown.
Hey, Liddy B. If this episode wasn't only football, what was it for you, Zach? What was it for you, May?
Well, for me today, my answer is not that deep. For me, this episode was about the fact that, usually when you see a jacuzzi on TV, it means something not so good is going to happen, or somebody's going to get in trouble. It's like the smoking gun.
It's
or
like
whatever,
Chekhov. If there's a gun in the first act, it's going to go off.
If there's
in
a
the
hot
final
tub
act.
in the first act, somebody in there is going to do something inappropriate. with
So
someone
wait,
they're
here,
not
quick
supposed to.
question.
Love that.
Let's do just new segment, getting to know you.
Love this. Fun.
Getting to know you.
Are you guys
getting to know all
hot tub
about-
people?
We just got demonetized. Sorry.
Are you guys hot tub
It was
people?
worth it.
Am I a hot
yes.
tub person? Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, I
Hell
love
yeah.
it. Of course, we need to get in a no.
See? Something bad
I love a hot tub.
happened.
We
No,
just
my
talked about
family-
how hot tubs are trouble, and you're like, let's do an episode
Oh,
in the
they're
hot
so
tub.
trouble. I don't know why
What's
my
there to lose?
parents had a hot tub growing up, and it was super cheesy, above ground.
Mine too.
But in Chicago, you're like, oh, hot tub. It's December. Let's get in the hot tub. We're not going to talk about what happened in that hot tub, but it's gross. I don't like
I think you need to work on your Chicago accent, which is surprising.
No, my Chicago accent is much better. I'm just imitating me as a teenager, just being dumb.
A big dumb teenager.
You know,
doing
when I lived with
disgusting
Zach,
things.
Zach has some interesting
Big
phrases.
dumb.
When I lived with Zach, I want to know this from the listening audience and you, May. When Zach would say something was not good, not cool, he would say it was porch. When we,
What the hell is that?
When Zach and I lived together, he was going through a phase where he'd be like, "Yo, that's porch."
Sorry, porch did not catch
No,
on.
porch is great. I actually tried to institute it in the last couple
You
of
can't
years.
if
and
it
people
was
just
never
look
there.
at me like, what are you saying?
Where did it come from?
I have absolutely no idea. All I know is my buddy Teddy and I, who, good friend of mine from college, Teddy Dunn, he was actually one of the original cast members of Veronica Mars.
Name
He
drop.
was Duncan. He was her boyfriend.
Wow.
And he then left the show and was like, you know what? I'm not into this business. And took the money he made doing Veronica Mars and put himself through law school and now is like a U.S. attorney in D.C.
Oh God.
And him and I... Actually, so, okay.
Porch.
little
Back to
behind-
porch.
Back to porch.
Okay.
So, fun story. It actually relates. When I came out to L.A. and I told the story about how I got called in for Friday Night Lights again. I thought I was auditioning for Riggins. And I was staying in his apartment on his floor. He had a studio apartment. I was sleeping on his floor when I booked Friday Night Lights.
Oh.
And we would
was not
call
porch.
things porch.
Yeah, but
I don't know
where
where
did
it
you
came
hear
from.
it from somebody else, or that was just what does it mean?
It means
You
it's
just make it
lame.
up?
It's
It means
so
it's
porch.
lame. That's so porch. So
Look at
Maze, it's
this.
not only football is hot tubs or porch. Zach, what is your it's not only football?
It's not only, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a mid-season
Succinctly,
re-premiere.
give me just.
You can do it.
You can do it.
What happens when we go to the playoffs and we?
You just did the recap. Why are you asking what happens in the episode?
Oh, it's work. It's the work.
It's the work. Great, the work.
It's the work.
Mine
Isn't
is
it always?
mine. If it's not only football, it's kidnappings. Multiple of them. So let's get into it. The episode opens with an explosive interaction between Street and Buddy Garrity, where Street's out back. They're grilling up food. You know, at the end of the last episode, we didn't quite know if Lyla said yes or not to the
Wait, we didn't?
proposal.
I feel like she said.
I don't know. She was like, She was kind of like,
Well, my notes
and she kissed me. I mean, you can kiss without saying. I mean, she doesn't say, "Yes, I will marry you." They
I
just
think
kind
she
of like,
literally did.
I don't think
Could
so.
be in
wrong,
like an I love you, but
I didn't think it was
there might have been a
implied.
but.
So for me, I'm like, are we really going to go through with this? Apparently, they are.
Like, clearly, you
Street-
said in the scene that you guys went and got a ring that morning.
No.
I just watched it. You said, "Oh, we went and got the ring this morning."
Yes.
Blah,
That's,
blah, blah.
yes. He's talking about quad rugby, and he's getting frustrated. You know, Lila's mom is like, "Oh, isn't that fun little thing they play at the the YMCA?" And he's like, "No, that's wheelchair basketball." And then Buddy's laughing every time he says anything about the
Because
sport.
you can't make a living doing it. He claims. I'm not agreeing with him.
Yeah, he says it's not. It's a cute little hobby, and he's just coming at Street. Now listen, perspective for the audience is Buddy's very upset with Street because of the current lawsuit that's happening, and also because of the confrontation in the driveway where I just chewed gum furiously in his face and tried
just
to
trying
tell
to
him
stay
like
warm.
it is.
You were cold.
We're cold. What do you expect?
When he
from
calls
you?
it a hobby, I end up telling him, you know what? I'm going to make the national team. And when I do, your daughter's going with me because we're getting married.
Yay!
Boom.
Yay!
Yeah, that...
Suck on that.
Mazel tov.
That's-
My notes say we're getting married, yay, which is very sarcastic because no one
Right.
seems happy about it. Not even Lila.
I don't think anybody thinks this is a good idea. Anybody in the listening audience, if you thought this was a good idea, go ahead and let us know in the rate and review section.
Did
in
you
the
guys
comment
know
section
people
at
who got
YouTube.
engaged in high school?
Yeah.
Did you know anyone?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
I did not.
I have family in Nebraska and friends in Nebraska who got engaged, right out of high school, are married still to this day very happily to their high school sweetheart.
Wow.
I know
Good
people
for
in
them.
Florida. I know people in Texas. Everywhere I've lived, listen, everyone is different, and everybody's lives lead them down
Yeah.
different paths. And I have friends from high school that got married very shortly after they graduated high school, like halfway through college, and they're completely happy still to this
Yeah,
day.
no one's
Yeah,
judging,
no,
but I'm
I-
just curious because I don't know anybody.
I would
so I was-
pity the young woman that married me when I was 18.
Totally.
Well, I think-
Imagine.
Imagine.
I was an idiot.
I think we grow personally, but it is possible, I think, to grow as a partnership. And I think Coach and Tammy are high school sweethearts, aren't they? I think it's interesting, though. Like in L.A., maybe that's less. In Chicago, a big city like Chicago, maybe less of that. Maybe it's smaller
my
towns,
parents-
smaller cities.
my
Maybe it happens
parents-
more regularly. I
My
don't
parents grew up in the same town I grew up in, went to the same high school. They are high school sweethearts.
know. Oh,
It happens.
so
Yeah, I know
When did
like
they get
some
married?
people in my family.
In their 20s.
so you do know somebody who fell in love.
You
in
asked if I went
school.
to high school with anyone who got married.
Oh, okay. I got
and
it,
I
got
asked
it.
if you knew anybody who got engaged in high school because you guys are perpetually
people
in
who
high
had
school.
kids
in case
in
you
high
didn't
school.
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that actually as well.
But you know what's interesting is that this scene wasn't actually the first scene in the script. I mean, this scene doesn't happen until like page 20 of the script.
What?
The first scene actually that you see in the episode is Jason showing Lila an engagement ring in an Italian restaurant as the opener. And she's like, "You can't afford this." He's like, "I know. They loaned it to me, but I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be able to buy you in the future."
What do you get on
I'm
layaway?
some of these scenes, I'm like, "Oh, why would they cut that? It's gold." I'm like, "Oh, thank God they cut this."
What is it? What is it now? What is it called? Like Corna? What's the thing where you try to buy something online and they're like, you can pay it in payments? Like
Corna.
Corna, not a sponsor.
Corna. Anyway, I love the first scene. I love usually I get mad at Street's explosiveness, like because the immaturity is just lashing out of
This time
him.
you liked it.
This time I really kind of enjoyed it. I did not like the way Buddy was
You know who didn't like it?
smugly laughing at me. Who?
Lila.
I know. She did
Yeah.
And
not.
I'll tell you, this is funny because I was like, oh, dude, like,
She did not enjoy that at all. And you find out as much when they're sitting in Jason's Jeep, which challenge flag,
that's some weird role play stuff.
Jason can't drive that Jeep.
No, you guys are just hanging out. You're not allowed,
I
no
know,
closed
but
doors in the house, but you can go out in the Jeep.
Oh, is that what you think it is? Is we went out to the Jeep to have the conversation away from my parents?
Yeah.
But why would we put my wheelchair into the Jeep? Because at the end of that scene, it's actually a really great scene where Lila's like,
Yeah,
my
why
dad
are you
is
trying
right.
to ruin it by, like, getting rid of my willing suspension of disbelief?
Yeah, don't pull the thread.
But, it's the interesting thing. She's spelling out her fears. she's telling you what she grew up thinking her wedding would be. And some young girls do that, and she's one of them. And she's like, I thought I would get married at 25. I thought I would be working for an advertising department after graduating college. I thought my sorority sisters would be my bridesmaids, and you would be doing, you would be in the NFL and all of these things. But none of those things are true anymore. I don't even know if you're going to school and I say the line, I lost my legs, not my brain. Yes, of course I'm going to school, which I love that scene too, because as the person playing Street, I was like, what is he doing? What is Street?
You're rehabbing.
What is he think? And the fact that he got to say, no, I'm still going to go to school. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to get a great job. We're going to have a house and a picket fence and 2 dogs and kids and all that shit that you're complaining about. But it seems like you're not up for the ride. And you don't believe in me is basically what he's saying. And Lila's,
she's not complaining about any of that.
Oh, she is.
Whoa, flag on the play.
What?
You're throwing lots of flags.
Wow.
Bro.
I'm like
get him an
reliving
actual
this scene. I was like, you know what? We throw so much praise on Tyra, as she deserves. I think Minka or Lyla, she's an amazing young woman where she's been there for you. She's made mistakes, which we all do, and she's doing her best to make up for them. But she's also standing up for herself and saying yo, dude, I'm sitting here pushing you around in a wheelchair. I'm doing all these things for you because I love you, and you're not thinking about me in any way. And to stand up for herself, and not in a mean way, but just in a really honest way. I have a hard time doing that in my marriage, and I'm 41. Yep. Spoiler alert. 41, guys.
Look, I appreciate the challenge flag. What I will say is that Jason is poorly communicating all of these things. But I think in the moment, his frustration is coming from, it seems like nobody believes in him. And it seems in this moment that she's not believing in him either. She's like, I don't even know if you're going to go to school. And to Jason, his response of saying, yes, of course I am. I am not a different person. You're treating me like I am a completely different person now just because of my injury.
Right.
I lost my legs, not my brain.
She's saying, I don't know because you don't talk about it.
Oh, we're in a fight.
Yeah, we are.
We are in a fight right now.
I am Team Minka on this one. I also am Team Scott. I totally get it. And that's what I love about this scene is because it's both these people are so right. They're both right because they're both hurt and they're both going through
they're also
things.
Coming from, I'm sorry, flag on the play. I'm going to
bring it in, May. Bring it in.
Here's I got a couple of flags.
Be the arbiter.
Adam wrote that he saw a for sale sign in the window of your car.
Yes.
So that's what's going on. You're out there. You're sitting in your nice Jeep for the last time. And you're selling it like Girl Scout cookies.
Oh,
Next
my God.
Flag.
Hold on.
Next flag.
Adam,
No.
if you were here, I could hug you right now. That's an awesome
Adam
catch, and I didn't see
so
that.
well. Next flag is that, of course, I think, there's like you're saying, neither of them is coming from a place where, like this show does so well, the concept of right and wrong is really sort of, it isn't, there are a few things in this life that are objective. And I feel like, again, a big part of what's tricky about this situation is that, Jason's not coming from a place of, I've thought about it and I've planned this all out and I really think it makes the most sense for us to do this. He's sort of making this grand gesture from a place of not really the most solid. And even, and so I think it's they're both kind of coming from these places of, yes, they love each other. Yes, they want to be together, but he's kind of jumping into it for sort of the wrong reasons. And she's sort of saying yes for the wrong reasons. And then kind of the aftermath makes it all a little shaky and the communication gets a little weird. And I feel like, Jason is ultimately, like you're saying, I just watched Broke Down Palace yesterday. Hold your applause. It's so good. I've seen it a million times. But there's a part where Claire Danes is trying to...
Oh, that's with Kate Beckinsale.
Remember? Yes, the Kate Beckinsale, European. They get drugs. They get caught with drugs at the border and they get arrested and they're thrown in the jail and etc. And the whole movie is sort of Claire Danes keeps trying to get people. It's unclear if anyone knows if they did it or not. If both the girls deny it, but then there's this sort of did they do it? Did they not do it? And Claire Danes, the entire movie her focus is on sort of do you think I did it? She keeps asking people, being you really think I did this? You think I did this? And so it's sort of I feel like Jason's having a thing where it's sort of what he really wants. Yes, he's asking to marry and this and that, but what he really wants is to be seen and to be validated and to be understood and to be believed in.
Jason is broke down Palace.
Yes.
I wrote in my notes, like, Lyla is right. They are rushing this. Street knows this.
No shit. You're
but
17.
He in the moment doesn't want to admit it. And the way he shuts down the conversation is to say, will you please get my chair? And it's such like a sobering moment after you watch these two people sitting in that Jeep, and the way they're talking to each other, it just seems like they're Street and Lyla again. And then that breaking of that kind of
then you gotta
moment.
have real talk, man. Oof, I hate real talk. I had real talk with my wife this morning.
How'd it go?
It went well.
Real talk can
What'd
be
you
so
fuck up?
fantastic.
I actually didn't.
I'm
I
sure.
actually didn't. But she said, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was like, oh, it's real talk time. I was in the laundry room. She's like, hey, Gil. She called me
Your
Gil.
man cave.
She calls you Gil?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
She said, hey, Gil, do you have a minute? And I was like,
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
You have a minute.
and she goes, what are you doing? I was like, just putting on my socks and shoes.
Oh my God, man, what's wrong with you?
And then she was
It's
like,
always the
hey,
like, can we
talk about something? And it was like, she was super vulnerable and loving as like a partner should be. And I was like, oh man, I love you. I'm so sorry. I was so scared of this.
To finish out Street's storyline, Street...
For the episode.
For the episode, yes. Yeah. I'm not going to the great Oklahoma in the sky. Just one of my favorite moments from our podcast so far.
It's really good.
You see Street and Lyla kind of dealing with this thing, but you also see Street having to deal with Coach Taylor in a much different way. And you kind of forget that this lawsuit is going on with
100%.
Everything that's happening in Dillon, with the pressures of the team, all of these individual characters getting incredible spotlights, whether it was Smash last episode and Tyra and her mother's relationship, and you kind of start to forget that this thing's happening. But then Buddy at the TV station, after a scene we'll get into later with you and Coach.
I have a BTS on that one.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Love the BTS.
On the way out of that totally that hilarious kerfluffle at the TV station, I will say, Buddy comes at Coach, kind of asking Coach to help him with the fact that his daughter has gotten engaged to Jason Street, to which Coach's reply is, I'm sure I'd love to talk to him, and maybe convince him that this is a mistake if him and his family weren't suing me. And then, you see this wonderful scene with Coach and Tammy where she's like, I want to be at the courthouse with you. And he's like, you don't have to come with me. Like, this is just a hearing. You don't have to be there. I'll tell you when you have to be there. But, I'm having surgery tomorrow on my ankle, and my dad is out here helping us through when I get surgery. And my wife is not going to drop me off because she's got the kids, and my dad's taking me. And she's like, I just want to be there. And I was like, I know, but like logistically, how does it all work? And sometimes you have to do this, but you have this moment or longing for your partner. And she goes, I just want to be there because you're my husband. And when I was watching this scene, I was getting those vibes, and it was such a touching moment. He's like, if I need you there, I will tell you. I know you have my back, basically. And it's just a lovely scene. But
I get that. I drove my wife to work today.
Nice.
That's how I'm just trying to earn points in the world.
Look at May. May is giving us so much face. But
Is that
Guys,
a bit?
you're glad
Were you making a
that
bit?
You didn't hear that. You should be really lucky that I didn't get that.
We got most of it lip reading. Can go back and see what was happening there.
Hola, Scott. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien. ¿Y tú?
Sí, perfecto. Muy bien. Gracias. Scott, you got to get your Babble on. My 5-year-old speaks more Spanish than you.
Yeah, I mean, I said bien, but, here's the thing. I took a lot of classes in high school, and in college, but I'm 20 years out from that. So I've forgotten more than I think I learned in the first place. But
I
now
took
I
French
know.
in high school, and that was a waste of time. And
I
now
lived in
with
Japan
Babble,
for a year, and I forgot all my Japanese. Let me. Here's what we're saying, everybody out there. And we should have gotten to this quicker, but Babbel is what both Zach and I need to help us learn a second or a third or a fourth language. Babbel is the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions.
that's a lot of subscriptions.
That's a lot of subscriptions, and it's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language or relearn one that you've kind of forgotten. forgotten. Look, whether you're traveling abroad, I'm going to Italy this summer.
Get your Babbel on.
Me and my wife's 10th wedding anniversary, I'm going to get my Babbel on. That's right.
Yeah, you're going to Italy, you do that. You go to Amsterdam, you do that. You babble whatever you got to babble because they got 14 different languages, including Spanish, including French, Italian. Go to Germany because they got that for you.
Japanese. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go.
Oh, and also, they don't just have these little mini lessons that are tons of fun and effective. They got podcasts, games, videos, stories, even live classes, and it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So if you're babbling along for 20 days and you don't think it's working, you get your money back, but you're going to love it.
Yeah, and other language learning apps, they use AI for their lesson plans. But Babbel's lessons, guess what? They were created by over 100 language experts to get you on your Babbel game. So start your new language learning journey today with Babbel.
Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/FNL. That's babbel.com/FNL for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
Hey, Zach, are you a wine drinker?
I am technically a wine drinker, but the wine drinker in my life is my wife.
Same with me. My wife is a huge wine drinker, and I haven't been able to find a wine that I really like that I can enjoy that whole wine experience with her. But you know what? We have someone here that's going to help me actually find the wine.
Tell me who it is, Scott. Tell me who it is.
It's First Leaf.
Ooh, First Leaf.
I mean, you're looking at the world of wines, right? And you're feeling lost. You're feeling intimidated like
There's
me.
so many wines. There's Super Tuscans. There's Tempranillos. There's Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris, and they're all different. They're all different.
I don't know what you just said. I have no idea what any of those things mean, but First Leaf is going to help me discover that. They're going to help define all of that for me because they are America's most personalized wine company. First Leaf takes the guesswork out of wine selection, and they do it for people who love wine and for people who are newbies just like me.
Yeah, because you might not know what wine you like, but you know what you like, and you take their surveys and you tell them things, and then they give you wines with 96% accuracy of what you're going to like, and they send it to you. You don't got to think. Don't think. Just drink.
96% accuracy is an astronomical number, but they always have a variety of new and exciting wines that will be delivered to your door. So even if you're a veteran wine drinker, you're going to find something new. And each bottle is priced lower than what you would pay at a wine store, so it's super affordable, which I always look at wine like, oh, this is an expensive hobby to have, but it doesn't have to be.
No, it does not have to be. You can get wines under $20, under $15. You don't need to drink that $2 Chuck. You get the good First Leaf bottles.
So you know what we say? We say for you all out there, just like me, sign up today. And you'll get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/FridayFootball. That's TryFirstleaf.com/FridayFootball to get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping.
Tryfirstleaf.com/FridayFootball.
But then it's Coach and Street at the courthouse. And I love that scene.
It's such a great scene.
Because it is two people that just respect each other so much. And Coach knows that Street is a good kid. And this is an impossible situation for them both to be in. And they've both been wrapped up in this thing.
I think Street has no ill will towards Coach.
And he has no power.
Yeah, no, none. And it's just like, I'm not supposed to talk to you, but I know you genuinely care about me, and I want to be able to say, how are you? What's going on? And then the fact that, I don't know. I love, and this is, I think, what a lot of us love about Coach Taylor is that even with everything going on, I'm not supposed to talk to Street. There's a big life thing going on with Street right now that's completely outside of this lawsuit.
Yeah.
And I just need to go give him a little coaching for a second.
Yeah, but he's not doing it on Buddy's behalf.
No,
he's not doing it on anybody's
no.
behalf. He's doing it as a person who loves and respects another person. And he says, I heard. And Coach does this a lot with Street. And I love how they weave Coach visiting Street throughout this entire season. When he hears about what happens with Street and Riggins, he shows up for Street. And regardless, I know you laughed at me last episode for irregardless, but regardless of this situation, he says, look, I hear what happened between you and Lyla, and I just want you to know this is a massive commitment, and I'm not saying that you can't do it. Hell, if there's anyone that can do it, it's you, basically, is what Coach is saying to him. And that's all Street, to go back to May's point, that's all Street wanted, was for someone to tell him that it is possible. And you are somebody who could do that. And I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you you can't. I'm telling you what I know of marriage. And I think it means a lot to Street. And then before Street wheels away, he turns and says, I'm really sorry they're making you do this on game day, Coach.
Yeah.
You know, and that just shows you how powerless both of these two individuals are in this particular situation.
It's another, no running in the street. This was a one-time thing. I'm the best human being in the world.
Street's not, though. He's
No, he is.
He's brash perfect. And he's competitive and he's all of these things. And as much as sometimes I was like mad at myself when I was young on my first show. And I was like upset because I was like, why is Street doing this? Like watching it back, I actually really I love the journey that the writers are able to craft for each and every one of these characters. And I know some people out there got annoyed with Street. People have told me in person, Street was one of the most annoying characters on the show. Oh, yeah.
I'll punch
Why?
them.
Yeah. Remind me to call you next time that someone tells me
That's
that.
ridiculous.
I would love Zach swings in. That's porch, bro. Boom.
Yeah, it's
Punches him. That's porch.
That is porch.
But that's the end of Street's storyline for this particular episode. It's like where are they going? Who knows? The two of them clearly are in over their heads, but as far as Lyla and Street, but the adults aren't necessarily reacting well to the situation either, but outside of Coach Taylor. Where do you guys want to go next? I think there's another dad or another father in this episode that I think we really have to spend some time with, and that's Riggins' quest to reunite with his father.
Dude, I
yeah.
loved this storyline. I got so caught up in it, and I totally forgot that this was a thing because it's just so long ago. And the guy, what is his name?
Brett Cullen.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah. Brett Cullen plays Walt Riggins.
Walt
And
Riggins, everyone.
You might know Brett Cullen if you're of the older generation like me from Falcon Crest. But if you're more current, he was in Lost, he was in Damages,
That's
Dark
right, he
Knight
was in
Rises.
Lost.
Yeah. And he is great.
Oh, he's amazing.
in
He's
this
been
role.
in like everything, and he's incredible. Yeah.
But these are like the scenes. These are the storylines with Taylor where I'm like, you're really good.
Yeah, that
He's
was
handsome
good.
and good.
I don't notice the handsome. I just notice the talent.
Sure.
I noticed
sure.
the handsome. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
I almost
he's
might.
no Glenn Powell.
It's not only football was almost. It's about Riggins driving through Texas. Because there are so many beautiful shots of him driving through Texas countryside. Now you find out that he got a speeding ticket. He didn't pay it. He shows up in court. The guy's like, "I need your dad to sign it." You find out Billy is not his legal guardian, which I thought up to this point he was. And I love Riggins' excuse. I'm sorry I didn't show up for court. It was an away game that day, hoping that the judge
Would just be like, "Oh, cool, got it."
No, he's like, I don't care. You still need to get your dad's signature. And that starts Tim on this journey of trying to find his dad. He shows up. There's this gal, Lydia, as he says, that, Walt Riggins was shacking up with.
Yeah.
And then he's not there anymore.
But I gotta say, like, what I love about it is, like, in the story of this arc is kind of you see him, he's a new guy, he's sober, and you see Tim hanging out drinking with him, and he's not drinking, but it's like, that doesn't cure all things. He's still, and then you get to, like, they play this round of golf, and it's centered around, will you come to my game if I win? And his dad, and then when he says at the end, when he wins, and he's so pumped that he didn't lose, if you didn't want to come to my game, like, you could have just said so. And it's so, it was really heartbreaking because
really
it's
sad.
so true. And it's just like, what is your deal, dude? Like, I can imagine. I mean, I'm a father, you're a father.
Yeah.
And I don't know Walt's history, Walt's mythical, fictional history. But, like, that's so heartbreaking. And I'm like, I am compassionate for that human of, like, what is going on that you can't show up for your son? What are you so ashamed of that you can't even? And if you're bragging on him behind the scenes, like, what?
Yeah, he gets warned by Billy before he leaves.
Yeah.
Do not trust him. He is a liar. Here's some money. And you see how much Billy cares for him. And he's really worried for Tim. And he says, make sure you do not give him any of this money and do not drink with him because he is a mean son of a bitch when he gets drunk. And, he gets down there and you find out, like you said, that his dad is sober and he's making ends meet a little bit. And him and Tim have a wonderful afternoon and evening. They're out by the fire, very reminiscent of like Texas Forever scene. They talk about Street a little bit. Street was trying to water ski with him. So you see just how deep the Street Riggins friendship goes back. Like when he was, and Walt says to him, Walt even admits some things, that night. Or he says, your brother saw some things.
Oh, when he says I was 10, I wasn't blind.
Oh, that line. Dad, I was 10. I wasn't blind. And you get the sense that he did some horrific things to both Billy and probably Tim's mom under the influence or whatever it was that was driving him. But Tim so very much wants to see his father as a different person than he is. And for me, this entire episode was so painful because even when I read the script, I'll never forget reading this script and being so invested in this storyline. I don't know my biological father. He left my mom and I when I was not even 2 and moved out of state, didn't pay child support. There's a lot there. And I had a stepfather step in, a man who was willing to take me, who wasn't his child, as his own. And he stepped up, and he was everything that I would ever need in a father. But I imagine when I was reading this, if that man hadn't come into my life, and what myths I would build or legends I would build in my head about the man that wasn't there.
Right.
And watching this with those glasses on was really tough to see. So, I just felt for Tim throughout all of this because he's seeing his dad. He's sober. He's like everything that he hopes his dad will be because he was 10. And he does want to believe that his dad has changed, that his dad can be everything, and the other father figures he has in his life are for their kids, whether it's Mitchell Street or whether it's Coach Taylor and all the other the men in his life that aren't him, that aren't his dad, but I was just waiting for the shoe to drop. And when Walt beats him in that game of golf and tells him, "Okay, we had fun, son." He calls him son for the first time in that. I mean, when he first sees Tim, he doesn't even realize it's Tim. For a second, he's like, Tim? With a question mark. Like, doesn't even recognize his own son.
He probably had puberty.
I know.
Since the last time you saw him.
Anyway, sorry. I know I'm monopolizing this.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Conversation, but
I'm sorry I made a joke. I'm with you.
No. No, please. It's just when he says it's different for me to go back, that was also very impactful because it's like Dylan is where he was his worst.
Right.
And for this man trying to be better, so it's different for him. But that confrontation where Tim's like, if you wanted to win so bad, I mean, if you didn't want to come to my game so bad, Dad, we didn't have to play.
Right.
It wouldn't have taken this long,
I also love, and I'm
no, go ahead.
Like this was like a rare moment of like, oh, someone gets a happy ending. When his dad shows up at the game.
Yeah, I know.
Because I genuinely didn't remember, and I was like, oh man, good.
That's
finally, someone gets a break.
An interesting thing to me because for me, I'm still watching and I see that man show up, and and this is so cool as a viewer, not as an actor on the show, but just as a viewer of the show, we see the same scene in such starkly different ways. I see him show up and I'm like, this means trouble. You see him show up and you're like, this is a happy ending.
I know, you're probably right. I just, there's a moment, like at least you can have that moment. Tim can have that moment of, what we just went through on the golf course and that whole thing where, I had this high and then it came crashing down. Oh, he showed up. And it's going to go south. I don't actually remember. I
love that. I love when Billy's like, do you have an extra ticket? Dad's here. And even Billy's, kind of
shocked.
He's lit up a little bit. Like he's got a twinkle in his eye, a little smile on his face, and that was surprising too because when Tim comes home before he gets kidnapped by Rally Girls, you can tell the worry that Billy had. He's like, "I'm surprised you stayed the night. Like, is everything
Billy
okay?"
said, "Did you order some Rally Girls?" He goes, "I don't know, maybe."
Hey guys, we're a sports show, right? Health first, hydration first. And I got to tell you who does that for you, puts hydration first for you every day, Liquid IV. Look, if you're trying to improve your health, hydration is a great place to start. And Liquid IV is the hydration brand that fuels your well-being. It doesn't matter if you're healthy. If you're not feeling up to par, look, I just had ankle surgery and I've been on the couch with my foot up in the air for like 2 weeks. And 2 days ago, my calf cramped up. My whole foot went crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, I called my wife. I said, please go drop a stick of watermelon Liquid IV and a glass for me right now because I'm dehydrated and I can't move. And there's nothing worse than that feeling. And I got hydrated right away with Liquid IV. I love their convenient packaging. I love they send it to you in a bag and they got all these sticks inside of it. And you just take that stick, you just drop it in some water and then you drink the thing. They've got a ton of flavors. I said I loved watermelon, but I also love the guava. The guava is awesome. Guasum. How about we go with that? Anyway, Liquid IV, you drop it in 16 ounces of water and it hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. And for somebody like me who hasn't been able to get up and move all that much, I need all of that in my system, and you do too. It's non-GMO, it's free from gluten and dairy and soy. Liquid IV is on a mission to help you with your hydration, but they're also on a mission to change the world. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 36 million servings in 50-plus countries around the world. Dude, hydrating you, making the world a better place, helping people everywhere. What more could you ask for? Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code FRIDAY at checkout. So, 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code FRIDAY at liquidiv.com. What are you waiting for? Go get hydrated.
Yo, I am obsessed with my movement watch. I used to walk around rocking an electronic watch all the time, but then I got my movement watch, and I'm like, man, I look smooth. Life is too short to settle for the same old thing like an electronic watch. Movement keeps your look and your lifestyle fresh with clean watches at a price that will not break your bank. First watch I ever really had, my wife gave it to me for our first anniversary. It was a designer watch, and before you knew it, all scratched up, all messed up, wasted all that money because I wore it all the time. Now I got my movement watch. I got no scratches on it. It looks polished. I wear it to the gym. I wear it to the restaurant. Everybody says, ooh, what's that watch? I was like, Movement. Get your movement on. Go to Movement. Get your watch. They got all sorts of things. They're so craftily designed, precise Japanese movements and industry-leading materials, from complex ceramics to sophisticated automatics, solar-powered dials to upcycle ocean plastic cases. I mean, this is the future on your wrist. One size fits all, so you don't got to worry about that. And if you want, give it to someone you love, or drop the hint that you want it as a gift. Watches are a tried and true gift. Great style, everyday confidence. Make your everyday sidekick for life's adventures a Movement. Get 20% off at mvmt.com and use code FNL. That's mvmt.com, code FNL for 20% off.
On Friday Night Lights, we're a football team, and we're constantly looking for the best players to bring onto our team. One of the biggest hiring challenges in 2023 right now is standing out to that top talent, just like the top players we'd want to bring in. Job seekers, they want more, okay? They want to know they can work from home if they need to, or they can easily apply for this incredible job you are offering. And they want to know what your company's like, what the culture is, what your locker room experience actually is. How do you break through all that clutter? How do you attract the most qualified candidates for your business? ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/FNL. NFL free agency is going on right now. How do those teams find those players? They put themselves out there, and they're probably using ZipRecruiter. How does ZipRecruiter help you stand out to the right candidates? Well, they have technology that sends you great candidates for your job. You can send a personal invite to your top choices, those free agents out there in the market, and you can really make an impact on them. And ZipRecruiter also makes it easy for candidates to apply to your job. Instead of filling out this lengthy application, they can just do it with one click. It's super easy for everybody that you're looking for to actually find you, to apply to your company, and to find their dream job with you. Get your job noticed by the best and brightest candidates today with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So see for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/FNL. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/FNL. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. So that's the Riggins storyline. May, how did you feel watching this beautiful man go through this very difficult episode?
Well, as his beloved one true love and partner in this life, it of course was extremely painful for me. No, I mean, I think exactly what you guys said. I think it's like interesting, family. And again, this is like, it's like what makes family dramas or things that have to do with families so fascinating is that it's sort of like all the regular rules don't apply because you have these relationships that it's not just like people that you pick and choose and you put them together because it makes sense and it's like the most healthy boundary thing. I mean, you're sort of just thrust together. It's funny to see how these adults or these, not adults, whatever, high schoolers that are actually 30 are like, can regress so quickly back into the children that they were when they were little and they wanted this validation from their parents or they wanted a certain relationship or whatever those gaps are. I feel like so often you don't get to explore sides of people's psyche like that on TV. And I think it's like, it just gives you a much deeper appreciation for understanding the behavior of the people as you get to know them throughout the years, and again, even like with your storyline with Lyla and you sort of the more you see, the more information you fill in, the more you kind of understand why these people are acting the way that they are. So even if you don't agree with them, you're able to at least makes sense to you and you can find some like empathy for them. Yeah,
you definitely see why Tim is who he is and the things that he does even as a teen. The drinking, these things, these are inherited quite often. One thing that's not inherited is Saracen earning this man about town kind of title in this episode. You are a wanted man in so many. In the very beginning of the episode, everybody's at Applebee's. Surprise, surprise. It's like one of the only restaurants in this small town, I guess.
I won us the game last week. I got us into the playoffs.
Why are you being so defensive?
You did. But you see the Jared Panther Talk Hour is happening. The what's it? Talking Panther football show.
I didn't even want to do it. They just made me do it. It just went on forever, and then I get pulled into a car. Like I am a victim of my circumstances.
You're so defensive.
Yeah, this was our first kidnapping. You go and you talk on the radio show, leaving Julie high and dry in the booth. Yeah. Right, you meet with her outside. You're like, "I'm so sorry." There's a lot of sorries from Saracen. This episode should have been called "Saracen is Sorry."
Sorry, Saracen.
And then Riggins kidnaps you.
Yep.
Right,
Buddy Riggs.
Yep.
Good old Riggs. Riggs. Riggs.
I still don't think Riggs is landing the way you have been hoping it would. But then there's a scene that's cut out actually because you see Julie. After this scene, this is the budding of a new friendship that we'll talk about later with if we have time to get to it with Julie and Tyra and Grandma Saracen.
Girls' night,
party girl.
But the next time you see Julie, she's talking to her mom, begging to go to a concert. Go see the old 97s on a school night. There's an entire scene cut where your apology to her for that night is the fact that you got these tickets and that you want to make it up to her by taking her to this concert.
It's you driving your wife to work.
And then you have to do the TV show.
You to work.
Then you have to do the TV show with
heart to heart.
The TV show with Coach. You have to cancel on her again.
Oh.
And that moment where he can't get the clicker to work, the TV doesn't work.
So this is my behind the scenes story about this.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So here we go.
Saracen, he's a victim of his circumstances in this episode, and we don't need to go too into it. We'll get to it. The last scene where Julie confronts him, and it's pretty heartbreaking, especially as a father of a young girl, and if anyone ever does that to my daughter, they're done. But I'll never forget, Kyle is the best. He's awesome. We're in Austin, and season 1, his family was not there. They would visit some.
Right.
But they didn't live there.
Right.
And if he went a certain amount of time without going home to see his family, he was cranky.
Grumpy.
And that scene, it was like he was going to get on a plane right after that scene to fly home to see his family. And he was like, what he is in that scene, he was there. I was like, and I literally at one point turned to him and was like, when was the last time you saw your family? I haven't seen them in 2 weeks. I'm flying home tonight. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I get it. Because he's not that guy, but it was...
Yeah.
I've been just alone in Austin without my family, and it was just...
It's like being hangry, but without seeing... It's about not seeing your family.
It's like famgry. And I now get it. Like, I get it now as a father. I've had those moments where I'll be somewhere. I've been out of town for 2 weeks, and I'm just like, oh, stupid... I know I'm like that most of the time, but it's a different level, and I'll be like, I'm just going home.
I just love it. He can't get the clicker to work.
Yeah.
He's getting frustrated with it. And then they're like, you know what? Matt, just throw him a couple of questions about football. And your first question is
About Smash.
Is Smash going to play Friday night?
Oh my God. What is wrong with you?
I ask the questions that people want to know the answers to.
And he looks at you and he's like, you think that's funny?
Yeah, it's funny. Why would you ask me that?
Why would you ask me?
Why would you ask me? Why right now? Why right here?
Why right now? Right here, right now. And then he has to deal with Buddy on the way out of the building. Coach does. That's great. But then the next time you see Saracen, you're apologizing to Julie again.
I'm apologizing. Look, basically, I get pulled out to a party. I'm in a hot tub.
No.
I literally.
That's not yet.
We don't need to go through every scene.
No. I love this
But
because
we need to talk about the jacuzzi. It's my episode.
This is a big moment, though. It's the first time that apology scene is the first time you call her your girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
You didn't. Of course, you didn't notice that.
I don't know. I just
God,
figured
where
she was
is
a
your
girlfriend.
heart?
That's a big deal in high school. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It's
May?
always a big deal. It's
That's
still
not
a
how
big
we
deal.
roll. No, because we always in our high school. My experience in my high school was you would have to ask up front, "Hey, do you want to be my girlfriend?"
Wait, you would do it
Right.
before you ever took her to the movies?
No, I mean
wanna be my
maybe you go
girlfriend?
on
There
a
was
date,
no
maybe you do
like
whatever.
dating period.
But no, but you might have gone once or twice or did something, but there was a discussion. You didn't just drop like, "So you're my girlfriend, right?" Like that's
Right.
why in watching like John Hughes movies and all that stuff, I was always like, "Would no one lives this way?" Where it's like I just drop like, "Oh, she's my girlfriend." What? I'm his girlfriend? I didn't know. It's like it needs to be a consensually agreed upon thing.
Of
I don't get to
course.
just claim you. So that's why I didn't even notice it. I figured off camera in a cut scene that Scott was going to point out. I asked her, would she be my girlfriend? And she said, yes, I would love to be your girlfriend. I said, I'm so glad that we have respectfully come to this agreement. No. And then we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
It was a slip of the tongue. You just said girlfriend on accident, and then it seems that she's like taken by that, and she's actually, it's such a
It's
cute
cozy
moment.
the first time you hear it come out of somebody's mouth that you're, even if it's like presumed or whatever, the first time somebody refers to you that way, you can't help but be like, oh my God.
How did the two of us live together for so long, Zach? We are such polar opposites in
it's
so
fine.
many ways.
fine.
I'm so
It's good.
like I'm usually like optimistic. He's so cynical.
Didn't you
like
ever
there's
It's
such
the odd couple.
Didn't you see the that Paula Abdul video where she dated a cartoon?
opposites attract.
Of course.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
that?
there you go.
Yeah.
We do, don't
I'm
we?
the cartoon.
We do. We
You're
do.
Paula
I'm
Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
Wow.
I do have better
I don't
dance
know who.
moves than you. Although that cat could dance. All right, May. What's the next scene?
Oh my God.
No, it's a cartoon cat.
That cat can dance. I
It's
know.
a cartoon cat. I know. I was
course.
trying to figure out which was the better dancer. I think it's Paula Abdul, not the cartoon cat. But whatever the better dancer is, that's me. I'm the better
It's always
dancer.
Paula.
It's another kidnapping, and rally girls show up at the house, and they take him. And Lorraine is all about it. She's like, "Hey, go help the Grandma Saracen is rooting for the."
She wants that to
And where do
She's
they
like,
So is
get
Wild
out
Oats.
while you're young. Have a,
go help those rally girls?
Go
and
help
then
them
what
bake a
happens,
cake.
May? What happens?
They get in a friggin' jacuzzi. And I need to talk about that because every time you see the goddamn jacuzzi on a TV show, you're like, here we go. Someone's going to do something with
they'll
someone
regret.
they're not supposed to be doing that with, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to get in trouble, whatever. It's an omen. It's like you see the jacuzzi and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a tricky night.
Oh,
you know?
nothing good happens in a jacuzzi. And
This is-
speaking of someone who grew up with a jacuzzi,
Same.
you're looking
I don't even
back
wanna
and
talk
like,
about
"Ooh,
it."
wow.
Okay,
And
so-
I don't think the filters on those things are that good.
So it just turns out that the Rally Girls are doing a calendar shoot. They're taking all of the players. Tim's Mr. October. You're going to be Mr. November.
Yeah.
But you got to get down to your
Thanks,
boxers.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Something to be thankful for.
Hey, were you working out and like trying to
I was
drink
I was
juice
trying to
before and stuff?
look as good and hide behind people as much as possible. And I genuinely, when I fall into the hot tub, I genuinely fell into the hot tub.
But Zach doesn't.
Wow.
Zach doesn't. You don't lift. Like you were all yoga. It was
Yeah,
like
bro,
when-
you don't lift,
yoga and
right,
running.
bro?
I don't lift, bro.
And it paid off, man. Paid off.
It
Yoga
did.
Yoga's the shit.
Paying dividends. What I loved about that scene, though, was there was a quick establishment of you and Riggins and you and Smash, and how your friendship has actually grown in a huge way. You see Smash and you're like, Smash!
I know. I thought he was going to bail me out.
No.
He's going to help me out or something. I was like, hey, Smash, hey, so we're going to just go, leave something?
Yeah.
He's
Or
like,
you come to get me?
Maddie.
You come to get me and take me home? No. No,
Yeah.
you are doing this.
So I mess
Peer
up.
pressure at its worst.
This is like pre-Instagram, but it might as well have been it's so pre-Instagram. It's like there was a calendar put out, and
Did they ever make that calendar?
no.
Oh.
But Julie sees it, and I said,
Do you know how much May would pay for that calendar?
A lot. Although I will
Just
say,
for
never forget
October.
that Stacy gave me the framed picture of Tim Riggins that they had in the Riggins household on the mantle. She
What?
kept it and she gave it to me as a present.
Stacey
and I have
Rostano,
it.
Mindy Collette?
That's correct.
Oh,
my close
my
personal
gosh.
friend.
You had an
so that was
inside
very
woman.
chic. So I don't need Zach's pathetic
No.
calendar
Oh, my
not
God.
stealing.
You
Okay,
don't want my
I have other
yoga
people to steal
physique.
props.
But my point is, this all brings us to at the lockers where I lie, and it's such a high school thing, and so of course I lied because I thought I could get away with it. But the look in Amy's eyes in that scene, I was watching it, I said I was ready to beat Matt's ass. Because I saw my daughter, and I was just like and it's Matt Saracen. Come on. He's a good guy. And we all saw what happened. He didn't really
He didn't do anything. He was kidnapped.
but he lied.
He did.
But he
did
lied.
Lie. He did lie. But he says,
Don't
I
lie.
don't know why I did that. I mean, he's uncomfortable, obviously, in his new status, like in the town, as being this wanted individual. Like, the football is starting to get to him. All of Landry's fears and Julie's fears and all this stuff.
Put a pin in that. 2 episodes, no Landry. What the
Yeah, what the can we get some
Where is
Landry?
he? Can we put
But
on
We
a
get a
milk
little
carton?
comedic
but
relief in
no
here.
Landry, but we are getting a lot more Smash. And Smash's storyline this episode, the continuation
trade.
of whether or not he's going to play in this playoff game against. Actually, I know who they're playing against.
Oh, my God.
I'll save it because
Save it till we
because
play it.
we don't actually kick the ball off this week.
Yeah, we'll save it for next week.
So I'll save it for
That's
next
right.
week.
But let's get to the great
Listen, if you want to
scene.
know the school that we will be playing against, you have to listen next week, everybody. Okay, go ahead.
You gotta
Now they're
subscribe and
smashing that
download
subscribe
and do all the
button.
things. and
Now
5
they
stars.
are
Download,
people
subscribe,
across
download,
the
subscribe.
world
But
are
the
smashing
scene-
the subscribe.
This show does this great thing of doing these, these tropes of we're watching children play football, and it makes us remember how much we love football and what the game used to be.
Our Ted Lasso moment happens in this episode.
And it works. And it so works. And here's the thing. I love the moment. I love the conversation. What I hated was when that little kid runs up and he goes, "You Coach Taylor?" He said, "I am." And he goes, "Well, I'm whatever my name is, and I'm going to be there first day, 2014.
His
I'm
name
like,
is
that's
Miles
9
Shepherd.
years ago.
Yeah? Yeah.
How old are we? We're
Yes.
so old.
How long?
Yeah, it's a mess.
This kid is foreshadowing to 2014.
I love.
Please don't.
So Coach, there's a couple of moments between Coach and Smash, and it's pretty much the same thing. He's making Smash do all this busy work. He's showing up early in the morning. He's making him pay his dues. He's making him get tested to make sure he's clean. He walks in at one point, and
He's doing the work.
This is actually a line I hear in my house a lot. He looks at Smash and says, "There's 2 ways to fold a towel. My way or the wrong way." And that's basically what my wife says to me every time I do laundry.
I just figured out how to fold towels, and they look so nice.
There's many ways to fold a towel, but yes,
No, you
my
gotta
way
do
or
it-
the wrong
no,
way.
you fold in half, and then you fold in half the other way, and then you roll
Right.
in thirds.
Oh,
Wait. Let me one more time.
You
but
just
you
broke
take it
people's
long wise
brains.
like this.
You fold in half,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then you fold in half the other way.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah, and then you roll it in thirds.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
that's what I do naturally, but I
maybe that
just
is nice.
I want to know.
Sean,
for
our
a fact.
producer engineer, but I don't even know what he is.
You know-
He's nodding at me approvingly.
Right.
Like,
I've never.
Okay.
you don't know how to do a podcast, but you know, God damn it, you know how to roll a towel.
I just want to do some highlights because we are starting to run out of our 4 quarters time. But the highlights for me of the Smash thing, there's another scene where they're at practice and Smash is not Smash. And Coach is like, "Go to the end zone and give me 20 suicides." He's like, "What are you talking about, Coach?" And he's like, 20 suicides now, Brian!
Oh yeah, it's like the only time he's ever called him Brian.
The way
Wow.
he says Brian. But Smash is kicking his own ass as well. There's a beautiful scene with him and his mom where he's just like, he comes in late at night. He's just running himself ragged. But it all pays off, it all pays off. But, Tammy is the voice of reason for Coach. Coach is putting him through his paces. And she's like, he is he's just a kid. And there's actually a cut scene where there's 2 cut scenes in this episode where Tammy really goes in on Coach. And one of them is about Smash. And he's like, most of it made the episode, but he's a kid. He made a mistake, and you are riding him too hard. I think you need to go talk to him, and you need to let him off the hook so he'll let himself off the hook. And that's what leads to that Ted Lasso moment. That kid's name is Miles Shepard, by the way. And I love how they show you in that moment that kid is like, are you Coach Taylor? Like he's this mythological creature, like this giant. And Smash is basically in that scene like, look, you don't need to like me. I'm going to just do me. He's like, no, if you want to go solo, run
That's
track.
what football's about. Yeah,
that's not what football's about. And then they play their game with the kids.
They have their
spark for the love for the game is reignited.
Frame
classic
football trope.
The other scene that was cut was Tammy. Coach reams Riggins when he gets back, and that's in the script. There's this scene where Coach is just ripping Riggins a new one, and then Tammy rips Coach a new one. And it's really
everyone's
cool
getting their old ones ripped.
Anybody wants to hear that, you can.
I want to leave mine intact.
But then Smash, he tells Smash, come in here. You're starting tailback on Friday or tonight, I guess, on game day. And then Smash, my favorite Smash moment of the entire thing of this episode is the prayer. And I want everybody to know out there, a lot of times when Smash is firing up the team, when he's on the sideline talking smack, or when he's in the huddle like this and he's leading this prayer, that's all Gaius. That's not scripted.
Oh, yeah.
And when he is praying and that team is praying with him, oh, my God, that prayer is awesome. Let us be proud in defeat and humble in our victory. You remember? I remember.
I didn't even need to write it down.
That's just Gaius just, man, at his best. And when that team is screaming clear eyes, full hearts can't lose, like, it just took me right back to the beginning of the show. So bravo to Smash. But I think that's pretty much it for our 4 quarters. They don't kick off the game. The game is going to happen next week. So
tune in.
We'll end
so it's
the
overtime
pod there, and we'll kick off next week as well. But yes,
I have an overtime.
All right,
and I'm really excited about it. Okay.
Yeah.
My overtime is that it's called Klarna, not Corna. Zach. You can pay in a variety of installments
it's like layaway.
Online.
So May's overtime has kind of become like correcting Zach. Correcting Zach. I knew this was going to happen at some point. I was going to start, the bleed was going to start to happen. And I wasn't going to know. And you know what? The bleed actually started happening for you, too. In some of your recaps, you'll be like Lyla Garrett again, Taylor Kitsch. Or
I don't know. It's like I don't call them by their... I know them as people, so...
Right.
This is like a Goosebumps episode where we're not able to, like, tear the fibers apart.
What's your overtime, Zach?
My overtime? I don't know. I mean... We really, I think we knocked this out of the park, but I love the girls' night party between Amy and Tyra and Grandma Saracen. It's just like such a fun moment. And what it really, for me, was, it was like, oh man, Annie got to do a scene with Grandma, and then I thought, did I ever do a scene with Annie? I literally never did a scene with Minka.
What? No.
Wow.
That can't be true.
Throw a flag.
You've been in the same room with her plenty. Like at Applebee's or whatever.
Yeah, but we're never...
But do you speak to her?
We're never speaking to each other. We're never in the same conversation.
Really?
And I really am pretty sure...
That's interesting because you guys were such good friends off camera.
Oh, she was my best friend.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And
I thought I was your best friend. What the hell?
Yeah,
She was
me
my
too.
best girlfriend.
I thought I was your best friend.
Oh, okay. That's porch, bro. My overtime was also going to be that budding relationship between Julie and Tyra, and you're actually... more seeds are sowed for like the future of Buddy and and Tyra's mom, Angela. She's like confiding in her. She's like, "Do you know who my sister's biggest client is? Buddy Garrity." And it's like, I'm pretty sure most of the audience went, like in there. That sound. Do we want to capture that, Sean, and just
we
use
might
that
want to
repeatedly?
capture that so we can get a button.
That's our producer in the back. We can just, but
we'll put it in the
I
bank
love
with
in the scene where Julie's comfortable enough with Grandma Saracen where she's like, I invited a friend over when she's watching her. So
Zach's just like, hey, Grandma, you're crazy anyway.
And Grandma's like, I enjoy company, and I love that. Like, you see Grandma actually hanging out, and she's getting her toes painted. And she's like giving Julie life advice, and so's Tyra. And it's just I really liked that evolving relationship, both of Tyra and Julie, but also the deepening of Julie and Grandma Saracen's relationship.
Yeah, that's nice.
That was such a cool thing.
This is my quick. It's the quickest one ever. It's a double overtime.
Oh, double overtime.
Love that.
I just
Double
want
OT.
everyone to know that the last note I wrote was me. Great episode. Love the Tim Dad theme.
Ah, it was so good.
Wow, that's the way to go out.
That's the way to go out.
That's a double overtime if I've ever heard.
me.
Last week we didn't do press box. This week we do have a question from the press box. This one is from Lynn Kidd over on Apple Podcasts rate and review section. If you would like to ask us a question, please leave a comment over there. Subscribe. Go to YouTube. You can hit us up in the comment section over there as
Hit
well.
the thumbs up if they got them. They got them there. It looks like,
All
hey,
the
good
thumbs,
job.
right?
I appreciate you.
The question is, I'm wondering when you as actors realized this show was a hit. And I do want to expand this maybe to Parenthood as well. Or if you ever thought that like Friday Night Lights was a big hit, just watching the show. But I'll start. We thought, just like Zach said last episode, that we weren't getting picked up for a back nine.
Yep.
You know, the final 9 episodes of season 1. We didn't think we were getting picked up for season 2. We got canceled after the writer's strike. We never were a hit. When I really started to understand that this show had longevity was years after.
Yeah.
I think, you know, now work-wise, it was really respected in the television and film industry, and it got us in a lot of doors. So I knew it was respected, but I never really felt like it was a hit. What about you, Zach?
I don't think it ever was a hit. I don't think it was a hit.
Point blank.
I never
You
was.
guys got awards in the last season, though.
last
We never even
season.
got that.
But it was, no one watched it. We almost got canceled. Hootie hoo, hootie hoo. I'm glad people
Yeah,
love
hootie
it.
hoo.
I'm really proud of it. It was never a hit.
No?
But that's cool. I had to find a way to spin this because it was the same thing for Parenthood. I feel like it's happened with like a lot of shows where I'm just always like it feels like we're like hanging on by the skin of our teeth. You never know. You're so sure you're going to get canceled. I mean, I remember I made a bet with Dylan Masson, our line producer on Parenthood, who's a good friend of mine. We like made a bet like about how like per each season after the first season, he was like, "Oh, we're going to go on for this long." And I was like, No, we're only going to be on for this season, 2 seasons. And we made a bet to pay each other money that for each season after 2 seasons. And I'm like, well, thank God he never hit me up for that money because I'd be in the hole right now.
Oh, you
but I
thought
feel
you
like
were
that
getting
is
canceled.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I was like, we're not. There's always this like air
Well,
of it
it's a
being
win-win
like, is
for
anybody
you.
watching this?
It's a
like,
win-win for you. If you're having to pay him because you got picked up
That's
again,
right.
you can pay him since you
There
got
it
picked up
is.
again.
See,
Yeah, listen, Friday Night Lights was never a hit in ratings, but
but
was
at least
a
you
hit
got the awards
in our
at the
full
end.
hearts. It was a hit in our full hearts.
I could clearly see through my clear eyes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I think we're going to stop there. Thank you so much, everybody out there, for listening. Thank you for sticking with us through this many episodes. I know we're over halfway through season 1. We still got a long way to go, but we are having a blast, and it's all because of everybody out there listening and coming along with this journey with us. So I say thank you on behalf of myself, Scott Porter.
I'm Zach Gilford.
I'm Mae Whitman.
And we will see you again next Thursday.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.